Discover new opportunities together in a new Chevy. Meet up in an Equinox, winner of the J.D. Power Award for initial quality among compact SUVs. Lend a hand in the strong and capable Silverado, or mix it up in a high-tech Trax with an available 11-inch diagonal touchscreen. Find family, friends, and fun in the Chevy that's right for you. Click to learn more. Chevrolet, together let's drive. For J.D. Power 2023 U.S. Initial Quality Study Award information, visit jdpower.com/awards.
Shopify helps businesses break sales records over the holidays with the world's best converting checkout. Let's hear that one more time. The world's best converting checkout. Shopify's legendary checkout makes it easier for customers to shop on your website, across social media, and everywhere in between. Now that's music to your ears. Any way you spin it, you can be a smash hit with Shopify. Start your $1 a month trial today at shopify.com/records.
As far as establishing standards, foul pole to foul pole, if you go back and look at any of the previous podcasts, or if you listen to any of the previous podcast, you'll hear me hinting about standards. You'll hear me talking about standards with different guests. And it's big for me having a military background. I'm big on discipline. I'm big on, setting a standard and keeping not only yourself, but the ones around you held to a higher standard. So, if you're a player, you're not that high up on the totem pole per se. Say there's players. You could be on the teams where there's captains, whether formal or informal leaders within the team, the leading of the stretches and whatever. And then you have the assistant coaches, then you have the coach, and then you could have different pieces as a part of the organization. So there's standards that are set all throughout, almost like a chain of command, just kind of like in the military. So the standard kind of comes down from the top, but the standard can also be set down there just at the player level. There's a certain standard of how you carry yourself, and that's individual. Your standard are your standards, and I have mine, and I'm sure a lot of them are alike. But as far as a player standard is concerned, what I want to help the young athletes understand is, don't let someone else kind of put your standards like to the side and say, hey, this is the way we're going to do it. Like you have to do this, or don't let them affect your standards. Like you have a standard, and you need to treat it. Hey, this is my standard. This is my routine. This is what I do. This is how I carry myself. This is how I load my gear up. This is how I want the dugout to look when I leave, when we line up to shake hands after a game, when we leave a certain area, staying in my uniform throughout. So there's like a couple different ways and a couple different standards that you set personally that kind of is going to rub off on other people. But I don't want it to affect you to where, okay, well, these people don't have the same high standards, so I don't have to have those high standards either. I want you to continue with your set of high standards. Like, hey, this is what I have to do. This is me. I'm not going to drop mine just because I'm in a different environment. I'm on a different team. I'm in a different organization, or I'm guest playing, or whatever. Like you set your bar, and then that's it. Like that's who you are. So just a couple of my pet peeves as far as standards, and then this could rub off on you. You might learn something. You might be like, yep, I do that too, or whatever. The standard for me, we'll start at like game day, tournament day, getting to the ball field. I can't stand it when I see it. I see a lot of teams do it. I see a lot of organizations do it. They kind of just roll in. Like people just get there when they want to get there. It doesn't matter to them if they show up, at the same time, or where they're going to meet up at. There's not like it's like they want to be fashionably late, or they don't feel the need to show up on time. Like, you might have a tournament and your first game is at 10, so y'all meet at 9. Well, you might have a meeting place somewhere. We plan on field 2, so let's meet by the third base side at field 2 at 9. Well, by the time everybody gets there and we know everybody's there and we try to figure out where we're going to warm up at, it's already 9:20. Now you're rushing. So you don't really have a standard. You see people just show up late. That's just what they do. They can't show up on time. They might show up in the wrong gear, or they're lazy, or they don't have their cleats on, or this or that. So as a coach, you need to set that standard. When I say we're going to meet an hour before, everybody together is standing where we need to be before that hour before the game. That's just one big in the uniform, cleats on. Hey, we're ready to start our warm-ups right now. And then that kind of sets the tone for the day. We know what we're going to do. Let's get our if you're going to hit, if you're getting into a cage, if you're getting on the bow nets, if you're whatever you're doing, you have a certain standard so everyone knows, like, this is our routine. We're going to get our dry swings in, or we're going to hit in the cage, or whatever you have worked out. So this is your standard of how our warm up is. And then how we stack our gear, how our gear looks like when we leave where we're going. Like if we're setting up like, hey, this is, the Bears tent city for the day or whatever, this is where we're setting up camp at. We want it to look a certain way. We want to look professional. We want to look like we know exactly what we're doing when we get here. We don't look like the Bad News Bears and we didn't show up and this is our first tournament and we don't really know what we're doing. When we get into the dugout, we're ready to go as a team. We're not waiting for so-and-so. So-and-so's not on their phone, sitting off with mom and daddy somewhere, and you have to track somebody down. Or they left to go get something to eat. Now they're coming back, and then we're starting a little bit early. Like, there's just certain standards that you want to carry yourself. And I'm telling you, being at this showcase this weekend, it just kind of, like, it dawned on me, like, you're under a microscope all the time. And you may not know that, and you may not care. There's always an eye in the sky looking at you. And you got to carry yourself. Your team has to be a certain way so that the older you get, these colleges are going to look at you. They're going to want to talk to you. Coaches are going to want to approach you. You look like you've got your stuff together. But if they don't know, it just looks like a jumbled mess on the outside. It's probably a jumbled mess on the inside. And that's just like small little things that you can do to kind of like take care of, keep your house clean. It's a part of that keeping your house clean type mentality. It's when we get into the dugout now, are we just throwing our gear around wherever I get my gear, or are we setting the bags up like they're supposed to be set up? If we have player tags or we have player cards, or if we have, the same bags or whatever we're doing, are they nice and neat, up and out of the way? They look like, we care about what we're about to do here, because, the better you look, the better you feel, the better you feel, the better you're going to play. So if our dugout looks good, it just sets a certain tone for us. It gets a sort of like, I don't know, it's like when you clean your bedroom, right? You feel good about yourself. Or if you got a sink full of dishes and a couch and a bed full of laundry, you don't feel so great. But once that stuff gets cleaned up, you feel a little bit better. So if you feel good, you play good. And if you look good, you feel good and you play good. So it's the same thing. We got bats all over the dugout. We got balls all over the dugout. We got trash. We're eating in the dugout. It's just, there's no rhyme or reason for it. During the game, there's got to be a certain standard running on and running off the field. It has to be. Like if it's too hard for you to run from your dugout to center field or to left field or to the circle or to like if it's that hard for you to do that, to respect the game enough, to B, respect the coaches enough, the other team that you're playing, the umpires, to just respect the game enough to give it your all, to hustle. I'm not talking about in between the lines. I'm talking about you're on the ball field, boom, we're hustling. Because there's somebody else that doesn't have that opportunity that you have right now that is willing to hustle, that is willing to bust their butt every chance they get. And I'm telling you, there are coaches out there that don't realize it, but you're being watched. All these games are being streamed now. Whether your team is streaming it, another team is streaming it, mom and daddy is streaming it, as an organization, the park that you're playing at, there are so many eyes on you that you don't realize anymore. And with these showcase tournaments that you go to, man, there's college coaches all around that don't want you to know that they're even there. They don't want you to notice them maybe on day one. They're just kind of getting a vibe. They're checking your vibe and see what's going on. Then the next day they may or may not talk to you from what they have saw the previous couple of days or the day before. So this standard that you're setting, go back to the drawing board. It's almost like right now I'm just saying, hey, do an audit. What do we look like when we take the ball field? You know, you can set this right now. This is the end of the year. We're coming into the fall. A lot of teams are done. They've already had their last tournament. Or you might have one tournament left. You could have 2 tournaments left, whatever. But this could be a part that you put into your notebook, your journal for next year. I'm setting the tone for next year. I'm setting that tone now, this year. You know, as another one that's big of mine, when the game is over with, gloves and mask and whatever just goes thrown all over the place on the field, and then we hurry up and get over and shake hands. Hey, let's come together real quick. Let's run off the field. Let's come together. Let's set our masks and gloves in a line. Let's set them in a circle. Let's set them together. Let's not look like a hot mess. That's just some things that gets under my skin. One big thing for me when it comes to uniform, I can't stand to see it. If you have any article of your team's uniform on, it is to be worn properly. It is to be like if you have a button jersey, don't unbutton it. You wear the whole thing the right way, or you don't wear any of it at all. Don't do it. Don't change where people can see you change. It just doesn't look good. It's not. It doesn't give people a great feeling about you. You know, stay in your uniform. If you're going to change, completely change. Don't show up. You know, you got your jersey on, but you're wearing sweatpants and Crocs, and you're like it just. I know in your mind you think you look cool. You know, look at me, whatever. But I'm telling you right now, that's not it. That's not a standard. It doesn't look good. It looks trashy. Once your tournament is over and you're done and you can get out of your uniform, you know, I understand taking your cleats off and wearing Crocs, but keep the rest of the uniform tidy. Tuck your shirts in. Keep your shirts tucked in. You're a professional, right? You want to act professional. You know, I get it. You're not getting paid to play that. I understand that. You're not getting paid to play that, but you need to act professional. And this goes into that professional etiquette. You know, we want to treat it like a business. Folks that know me, they know, like, when we travel, go somewhere for a weekend, or if we're going to a tournament or doing something, whatever, to me, it's a business meeting. I set that tone with my daughters. It's a business meeting. We're going out there. We got business to take care of one way or the other. You know, it is supposed to be fun, and I get that, and they understand that too. But, you know, we put all this work in, and it's not just, oh, well, you know, I didn't pitch very well. I just walked 3 batters and gave up 3 hits in a row, and the coach didn't pull me. So, and then I just, you know, head to the dugout and think everything's okay. My nuggets are waiting on me, or my Gatorade. Mommy's going to bring me a bag of chips or my gummies or something. Nah, well, I guess it depends on what age group you're playing. But once you get to a certain point, it's got to be, you need to take it serious, because at the end of the day, it's a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of effort, and a lot of money. So I don't know how you go about talking to your loved ones. I don't know how you go about talking to your kids. I don't know how do you go about talking to your team. But the way it is now, man, everything is, we're talking about splitting hairs and this and that when it comes to who's getting looked at and who's not. Don't make it easy on them to cut you out of their circle. Don't make it easy on them for them to say, yep, you know what, that team, any of those girls on that team, I'm not into them. I don't want them to come to camp. I don't want to offer them a spot. I don't want to talk to them. I don't want to watch their games, because I see how they act off the field. They're like slobs. They don't care. They run amok. They're hanging out with mamas and daddies throughout the day. You know, there's a lot of teams that I see out there that mamas and daddies don't interact with their kids hardly at all during the day, during the tournaments, unless there's a game break. Like between games, I mean, it's standard. This is our business. It's what we came here for, you know. So as we get into that professional etiquette, I saw it this weekend. I'm not going to name the teams. I'm not going to name the where I was at. But, I mean, this is a showcase tournament. So, yeah, you want to perform well. You're looking at different scenarios. You're playing some different competitions and stuff. You're trying new things out. There's not a whole lot on the line. You just want a good show, and you want to, have your players excel and getting them in situations and making plays and facing the competition and stuff like that. One thing you don't want to do is argue calls, balls and strikes, or calls that didn't go your way. You definitely don't want to do that at a showcase tournament when there's college coaches that they're there. Doesn't matter what age, if you're 14, 16, or 18. It doesn't matter what age you are. If you're out there and you're arguing an obstruction call in a game that no one's got a book, no one's got score, no one's got, it's finished last batter when the time runs out. I mean, I don't know why for any reason there would be an argument with the umpire. If you want to talk between innings and have a conversation about it, by all means. But man, don't stop and challenge a call that it's not going to be overturned. It's meaningless to argue. All you're doing is shining a bad light on yourself and your team by arguing a call at a showcase where there's no tournament. It's like it's a 5-game guarantee. You're just gonna play a random 5, and that's literally it. You get nothing. The colleges that are there, they don't care who wins. They want to see maybe a pressure-packed situation. Bases loaded here. We got 2 outs. They want to see that. Or maybe they'll see a girl that's been mowing them down. There's a pitcher that just had total control and she hadn't give up anything. But they don't want to see you get all messed up because you think your player was safe, or you think that player was out, or she missed a tag up, or she left early, or where did that miss blue? What does it matter? All it's doing is creating a situation. It's creating a different piece to the game. That's it. And then now, okay, so say the call was reversed and the girl was out at home, or say the call was reversed and they did call her out for leaving early. All that's doing is creating a brand new situation now. How many of you guys have been to those showcases where a girl will lay down a bunt, they'll tell her to come back, and now I don't want you to bunt. Or they'll yell out, hey, she's bunting, setting the defense up. And this girl like, oh crap, like I'm bunting. Everybody knows I'm bunting because they told me to bunt. Or they tell the pitcher, I don't want you to throw anything but fastballs this inning. Nothing but off speed this inning. Or we're going to bat 7 batters. And then once we bat our 7 batters, we're just going to turn over. I don't care if all 7 get out. I don't care if all 7 hit home runs. We're just going to bat 7, then we're going to switch. Or you guys are going to bat for 15 minutes. Every batter's going to start with a runner on second. It's all situational stuff. No one cares if a blue misses a call. Good gracious. If we're arguing balls and strikes and we're arguing plays and showcases, man, you need to let somebody else get on that bucket. Okay? So that's my piece about etiquette. Make sure you are carrying yourself and you are interacting with others in a way that shines a good light on you instead of a bad light on your team, because you may not be invited back. Bottom line, that's you need to have professional etiquette. That's it. Treat others as how you want to be treated out there. You're the example. You're for those girls and for the other coaches. Seriously, And I guess we'll jump right straight into the comfort zone part of this. There's 2 parts to this comfort zone. Find your comfort zone. Find where you're comfortable at. Find that team. Find that group. Find that group of friends. Find where you can be yourself. Get that comfort zone, because when we're comfortable, we feel like we can be ourselves a little bit more. Gives us a little bit more confidence. gives us, that little umph. Like I feel good about it. I'm not constantly looking over my shoulder. I don't feel nervous. I'm not paranoid. Get comfortable. And then once you get comfortable, break through that comfort zone a little bit. Push through that. Put yourself out there a little bit more. Introduce yourself to new people. Talk to new people. Meet new girls around the tournaments, at practices. Say you're a 12U team and your organization's got, 14s and 16s. They got older ones. Introduce yourself. Like, throw with them. Talk to them. Ask them questions. If you can do that. If you're at a tournament, it's not like us against the world and, we don't talk to any other team and stuff like that. Find out where these girls are from. If you're from Virginia and you go to a tournament in Texas and you see a girl that's got a California something on that you can tell her team's from California, introduce yourself, talk to them, push yourself, get through that comfort zone a little bit. Maybe you're one that doesn't like to talk to people. Well, talk to them. And it goes something as small as at practice. You've been talking about, hey, coach, I've been working a little bit at whatever position. You're normally a first baseman, but you want to try playing third or, catching. If you're 10U, 12U, something like that, put in the work. You push through that comfort zone a little bit. Have that confidence to do that. And you have to fail in that comfort zone. It makes you stronger to fail in that comfort zone. But you're in your comfort zone, so there's people around you that are going to kind of catch you with that. You want to push through the comfort zone, then you want to come back. Maybe your team is off and you've never guest played before. And you've been thinking about it and you don't want to because you're scared or you don't want to because you're nervous. This weekend, maybe you jump out there and you do guest play. Maybe it's a friend's team or it's somebody that you know and hey, come guest play with us. Or you're jumping up to 12U next year and you're still 10U. You can go guest play with a crosstown team or a team within the organization. Whatever your comfort zone is, have the confidence to kind of push through that. And you'll be, I can't guarantee you, but I'm willing to bet you'll be better for it if you trust me this time and just push through it just a little bit. Instead of saying no this time, go for it. That the whole comfort zone, it's there, but your comfort zone can get bigger and bigger. When you think of yourself now, when you went to try out for your high school team, or you went to try out for your middle school team, or this travel ball team, or the first time you heard travel ball, and I've only played rec ball, and it's a huge deal. And then when you get there, you find out travel ball and rec ball is the same thing. You just travel across town, and you pay more money. So that's the difference in travel ball in a lot of situations, right? It ain't like it used to be. Like when travel was travel ball, there was very few players that did it because it just wasn't popular, wasn't big enough. Not a whole lot of people knew about it. So now you got teams that are traveling out of state every single weekend. That's the only difference. How far are you willing to travel? That's travel ball. How far are you willing to travel? Right? So you got out of that comfort zone to try to play this new position. You got out of that comfort zone to try for this new team. You got out of your comfort zone to tell the coach you wanted to change positions. So continue pushing yourself. Get out of your comfort zone. Maybe you're too nervous to try hitting coach because you don't want to be told how bad you're swinging. Or you're too nervous to tell mom and daddy you want to try pitching. And then all of a sudden now you push through that comfort zone you were in. Or how about this? How many times do we hear every weekend? I bet you can look on Facebook or Twitter or wherever, and you'll see so and so needs a bracket pitcher. Well, you can get out of your comfort zone and say, "Mom and Daddy, tell them I'm a bracket pitcher," and then boom, they don't know. This team doesn't know who you are, if you're a bracket pitcher or not. Do you show up, right? Because every weekend, if you look on all your little social media groups that are out there, all the pages that are on Facebook, you'll see every weekend teams needing guest players. All the time, right? Jump on it one time. Go guest play. Meet somebody new. Get coached by somebody different. I'm not saying your coach is bad. You need to go guest play and join that team. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is go listen to another coach. They're probably saying a lot of the same stuff, but just using a different word, using different ways to get it across to you. So if you're in a situation, if you're young enough, the 8s and the 10s and the 12s and, whatever, and you want to guest play, you want to help a team out, this or that, go for it. Go do it. Be around different girls. Hear different things. Look at different calls, different situations. You'll learn something. Go to camps. That's a huge break through your comfort zone moment is the first time you go to a camp. Everybody that goes to a camp the very first time you go, and probably a lot of camps after that, you're nervous. And the reason why is because of the unknown. You're scared of the unknown, right? You don't know how it's going to go. You don't want to get singled out. You don't want to get called on. It's like in class, you don't want the teacher to call on you. Now, there's those ones that do want to get called on, but like if you're the one that doesn't like to be called on in class, and then all of a sudden you get called on. It's like, oh man, I got called on, right? You don't want to be called on. And then all of a sudden, boom, she calls on you. Now you're out of your comfort zone, and for the rest of the day, the teacher can't get you to shut up because you busted through your comfort zone. And then now, they can't get you to shut up. Right? What about this one? You've never led your team in stretches, and all of a sudden, the coach calls you out. Hey, you're going to lead the team in stretches. You're going to lead us in warm-ups, whatever. And now, all of a sudden, it busts that bubble. And for the rest of the year, you're the one that's been leading stretches. But before that, before he made you do it, you were too scared to get out there in front of your own team. Right? It could be something simple as a raffle. You got the raffle. They make you read the name off. They get you through your comfort zone. Got to push yourself a little bit. Got to push yourself. So I know I thought a bunch of examples, and I get to roll and get to rambling, get to throw it out there. So sort of that's how it is with the big three. It just pops up. Some stuff I write down, I'll tell the wife to write it down, or I'll write it down, or I'll put a note somewhere, and it'll be like, what's this? Don't worry about it. That's my big three. So coaches, players, parents, let's establish standards, and let's stick to those standards. If we need to raise those standards, by all means, let's do an audit. Let's raise our standard. Okay? If the other people on the team aren't up to your standard, I'm not saying be a butt about it, but don't drop your standard. You know what's right. You know what you're supposed to do. You know the dugout's supposed to be clean. You know you're supposed to run on and off the field. You know you're supposed to be up against the cage screaming and hollering and cheering. There's a certain standard, and don't be lazy because everybody else is lazy. Don't fall victim to, well, nobody else is doing it. Don't do that. Don't do that. Professional etiquette. Look, treat the people around you the right way. Treat the fields that you're at, the facilities that you're at, the coaches, the umpires, the other parents. Be professional. Whether you're a coach, know your situation, know where you're at. Know that these girls are going to do exactly what you're doing when they get older. You're trying to set an example. You're a coach. You got your foot in the door to continue growing the game. Now, if you're doing it because if you didn't coach, your daughter wouldn't have a spot to play, then I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the ones that, hey, you got into this for a reason, and you're continuing to grow the game. Be professional about it. Be professional about it. If you're a tournament director, you're not God. Okay? You can't just do whatever you want to do. Umpires, same deal. Let's everybody be professional. I heard tell this weekend there was another knockdown drag out involving that. There's an infamous team around this area that coaches like to throw hands. So, anyway, so be professional the way you're talking to people, coaches, players, parents. That's a big thing. Parents, we can hear you. We can hear you on the camera. We can hear you. Comfort zone. Push through it this week. I'm going to challenge you this week. Push through your comfort zone. Do something. Do something you've been scared to do. I'm not talking about go skydive or bungee jump. I'm talking about do something. Volunteer. If you're too nervous, you know. My middle one is super nervous. She won't even order at a restaurant, right? She won't. Daddy, will you order me this? All right. She's slowly getting out of her comfort zone with that. Because me and her mom are just like, no, you can order it. You can do it. So she's starting to get out of that. She's so nervous to talk to people. It's incredible. I was the same way, though, when I was in the Marine Corps. I would walk up. I would greet the senior as we're walking. I would greet them. Good afternoon, sir. And I'd put my head down and keep walking. Or, good afternoon, Sergeant Major. And just put my head down and keep walking. I was just nervous. And I just grew out of it. Kept pushing through my comfort zone. And eventually asked my wife to marry me. Or I think she may have asked me to marry her. I don't remember. I'll have to ask her. But anyway, moving forward into this week, we got a couple more live shows that we're going to do. We are going to be recording and filming some podcasts that is kind of getting put together for season 3 of the Foul Pole to Foul Pole. That's going to go out, like I said previously, it'll go out this year before next year goes, or before next year comes. And then we'll get going on season 4 for next year. If you haven't checked out the episodes, they're here on YouTube. They are Spotify. They're everywhere. Everywhere you can listen to a podcast, it's there. Foul Pole to Foul Pole. Boom.
We get our weekly groceries delivered through Instacart because once football season starts, game time is family time. I can get everything my family needs for the week, from reliable staples to specialty ingredients, all delivered right to my door in as fast as 1 hour. So I can stay on my game without missing a minute of the game. Visit instacart.com or download the app to get free delivery on your first 3 orders. Offer valid for a limited time. Minimum order $10. Additional terms apply. Instacart. Add life to cart.
This is the smell of the leftover tuna fish sandwich you left in your lunchbox over the weekend in a wimpy trash bag.
Wimpy, wimpy, wimpy!
Blech! And this is the smell of that same sandwich in a hefty, ultra-strong trash bag.
Hefty, hefty, hefty!
Ah, smell the difference? Hefty Ultra Strong has Arm & Hammer with continuous odor control, so no matter what's inside your trash, you can stay one step ahead of stinky. And for bigger jobs, try the superior strength of Hefty Large Black Bags.